Hey guys, coming at you more analytical than Simon on American Idol. This is Door Clint Anime coming at you with another video, and this is an intro manga video series again. And basically what happens in this video series slash segment is that I introduce to you weekly new, old, or underrated manga that I want to introduce for the benefit of giving you guys new series to enjoy, and for the benefit of giving the anime community new series for them to indulge in. And for this week's intro manga, I'm going to be talking about the manga slash anime of Shigurui. And Shigurui has been a very, I'm not going to say famous, because I put this in the underrated slash kind of new category. But it has a swell fan base, but I think it should be more represented and have more of a light. So that's where I put my grounds on with that. So here it is, my synopsis first. Shigurui basically has a plot holding a tournament. And I know I'm going to say a tournament, but it really doesn't have a tournament. But the plot is the son of a daimyo has given the authority for a tournament in Japan. And it is inside of the Shuzoku in the Taranoga castle or Taranoga era, in which the daimyo of the time, the daimyo, which is the son of the shogun, wants to host a tournament with the nobles, with samurais. So this is a tournament with samurais fighting. But the twist is that they will use actual steel with real Japanese swords. And there are a whole bunch of vassals and administrators who are against this battle and who are nervous to see what are the ramifications of these battles. But the daimyo still wants to do that. He still wants to hold the tournament. As we see in the first chapter, there's build up to this, and there's build up to where the daimyo is going to see the first match of the tournament. But it's a strange thing here, because we get introduced to these samurai. And these samurai, who are supposed to be the elite of their village, are not as elite as warriors as you think. Because the first contestant turns out to be a one-armed swordsman who does not have his left arm. And from the outside looking in, you're thinking of, I've never seen a swordsman like that before. But then what gets worse is that there's another swordsman, the one-armed swordsman's opponent, who's blind. So we have a blind swordsman versus a one-armed swordsman. And for you guys who've already seen the series before, whether you've read the manga or you watched the anime or both, then you guys would pretty much know how important these two figures are to the rest of the series. But for you guys who don't, I just want you to think of how weird is that. This is how the manga starts off. So as the manga progresses, the series has a flashback, and the flashback into the past hosts the backstories of the one-armed swordsman and the blinded swordsman, and they have a lot of backstory. Now I'm going to introduce you to these characters. The one-armed swordsman, his name is Fujiki Genosuke, and the blinded swordsman, his name is Seihin Irako. And when you can tell by Japanese names, it's usually first name last, last name first. So I'm usually going to call Fujiki Genosuke, and Seihin Irako Irako. Okay? Got it? Good. As you can see from the past, Seihin Irako and Genosuke build up a rivalry based on the meeting of a mind inside of the Kogan Iwamoto Dojo. And the Kogan Iwamoto Dojo is owned by a well-respected samurai named Kogan Iwamoto. They train under him. They learn his sacred arc, Nagaraboshi Nenboshu. And as soon as the series builds up from the past, from the flashback, into the current present up until the tournament, a whole bunch of shit happens. And I recommend from now that even though I'm introducing this manga to you and the initial plot and setup of the story, is that I'm going to only do the first 10 chapters. And the first 10 chapters just holds how Irako comes and travels to the Kogan Iwamoto dojo and challenges the head ninja inside of the dojo. Not the ninja, but the swordsman, the samurai. Obviously, Kogan Iwamoto has disciples under him. So Genosuke, being one of the top elite of his dojo, decides to challenge Irako. And after a well-fought battle with swords and samurai battles, Irako wins. After that, he has to face the next person who's above Genosuke, which is another primary character inside of the story. And his name is Gonzaemon Ushimida. 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 I'll call him Ushimida for now. And after a well-fought battle, through this colossal man in Gozaemon, he's a very big man. Irako loses. And so as Irako loses, he sees that he wants to become a disciple of this dojo. And I must say, from this dojo's art is that this dojo is very cool in how it executes everything. Like, there's a philosophy that this dojo has, and it's to leave the individual or the enemy with a reminder of the dojo. If I didn't quote that right. Because a lot of context that's inside the Shigurui manga and anime is Japanese related, and a lot of interpretations of the culture is hard to get because of it. For the characters, the main characters who are involved in this story are, of course, the first two characters I introduced to you, Fujiki Genosuke and Irako Seihin. But then we also have other characters like Kogan Iwamoto and Kogan's daughter, Mie Iwamoto. But on the vice side, we also have to deal with Kogan Iwamoto's mistress, Iku, Lady Iku. And that may be, and the final person who's has a main aspect into the story is Gonzaemon Ushimida. And these are just the central primary characters who work into the story. And as we see, after the defeat of Irako Seihin from Gonzaemon Ushimida in their sword battle, Irako is admitted inside of the dojo through a pretense of laws. And as the chapters move up, and I'll move up until chapter 10, Genosuke and Irako work together and battle together, and they soon gain the title of the Twin Dragons. Now, as the Kogan dojo and the Kogan, just Kogan's district has a very powerful dojo and very powerful esteem when it comes to their fighting force, they gain power and popularity through that. The story clarifies more upon how there's life and betrayals among these two, and how the ambitions of these two, especially Irako's ambition clouds a lot of his judgment and allows him to be susceptible to a lot of unfortunate things that happen into the story. One significant comment that I have about it is that even when you try to think about who's the enemy and who's the good guy, or who's the protagonist and who the antagonist is, there's a very gray line between them. Because a lot of things that you think from the good side, who I'd say in the story by default is Fujiki Genosuke, is really gray and isn't really defined. And for some instances, I get the feeling that he is a bad guy, or that he has done villainous things or immoral things. And then in Irako Seihin's side, I get that he does more of good things, even though it's portrayed by default he's the antagonist for the series. I must say, overall, if you're a guy who likes to look at introspection and who likes to get character development and who would appreciate the flashbacks and seeing how character development progresses up until the present and how it's written up to the present, go read the manga Shigurui. Shigurui is illustrated by a mangaka named Yakayuki Yamaguchi, and it is written by Norio Nanjo. So if you want to see what more projects they've done, then go check it out. It has 15 volumes, 84 chapters, and I think it ran a total of 7 years, from 2003 to 2010. So it is published in, I'm not sure what the magazine is published in, but the more interesting aspect is that it is a shonen. And you wouldn't think that it's a shonen because it is very violent, very bloody, and it deals with samurai and steel and blades, which mean it is susceptible to being bloody and very samurai-ish. I haven't seen a series which has been heavy on the aspects of a samurai and fighting inside of that and character development ever since Rurouni Kenshin. And I think Kenshin has the prime top quality when it talks about that. But for Shigurui and the development of the characters and inside of the story in the Japanese context and the fighting inside of the story, it comes to a very close second. And one more thing before I end this video, if you are an individual who enjoys fighting, battles, character designs, and artwork, specifically this series is for you. Because even though it has human aspects to them, there's no supernatural anything, there's no golden powers or anything like that. It's just straight up fist battles and sword battles. Then go watch this series. This series has realism. This series conveys the proper emotions, and this series has excellent artwork. I said the guy who illustrated this was Takayuki Yamaguchi. Remember that. Remember that. He has very potent artwork, from the shadows he makes to the contours to the artwork to the portraits to the details he makes in the background of certain settings, certain cities, to the right dactyls of the characters, to the stories that he tells with the images of the characters. It's amazing. So this has been Dorkin Anime. Like or dislike this video, it doesn't matter as long as you get my name out there. This has been all the quality content with none of the filler, and if you don't know what that is, then you need to watch more anime. Shigurui is a shonen manga that has action, that has action, story, development, samurais, man, samurais. It can't get better than that. So go watch it, go read it, go enjoy it. I guarantee you, this series, if you are a fan of shonen and or seinen, you would like it. Alright guys, peace.